Hello everyone, this is Pal Pondron Weather coming at you with another video. In this update, we're going to be talking about my major winter storm forecast for Texas and parts of the South. So before I do get started, if you do like weather related content, please subscribe to my channel as I will upload daily updates to keep you ahead of the storm. And I do ask you to share this video with your friends and family on social media. All right, so let's get started. Here's the latest watches and warnings. And man, check this out. I mean, you don't really see this very often. You've got winter storm warnings pretty much for the entire state of Texas, from West Texas extending all the way into Central Texas, going into East Texas, from an area from Lubbock all the way to Texarkana to Shreveport. And then we out on the outskirts, we've got winter weather advisories and the Panhandle all the way down further south, extending into portions of Louisiana and Arkansas. So this is a big event that is on the table for Texas for today and extending into Louisiana and Arkansas for later on the night into tomorrow. So let's kind of walk you through the details. Here is the latest short-range mesoscale model as of this morning. The snow is going to be starting to fly in the Texas Panhandle, getting into Lubbock with these darker blues starting to set in. We should start to see some of those half-inch, possibly maybe up to an inch per hour snowfall rates as this snow starts to really come down as it takes advantage of this Gulf moisture. This is a very dynamic system. We've been watching this system for over a week now, and it's been taking a beeline towards Texas, and it's been on just collision course ever since, and it's not deviated. It has been on target ever since, and now it's here, and when it's here, it's really going to get its act together and dumping some heavy snow over Texas in a big way. In a lot of places, you just hadn't seen snow in a very long time, so a lot of guys in Texas are pretty happy campers today. But yeah, I'm expecting a big event for Texas. So as we kind of walk you through the details, as we get into noontime, we start to see that transition to more of a rain to a snow all in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I am expecting a 100% coverage of at least some snow in Dallas-Fort Worth. So it literally has been since March 4th, 5th, since you've had at least 1 inch of snow, accumulated snow, 2015. So almost 6 years. So the snow drought is coming to an end today. And as this continues to push off, this will extend and dump some heavier snows all the way down into Central Texas. So this is a pretty big event for West Texas. Places like Lubbock should get like 4 to 8 inches of snow, is not out of the question. Places like Abilene, we're talking probably 3 to 6. If you get into the Dallas-Fort Worth area, that's when you'll start to see some of those snow amounts to really kick in. I'm expecting maybe like a 2 to 4 inch swath in Dallas if you live just north of the city, possibly 1 to 2 inches. And south of the city of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, 4 to 6 inches. And this will continue. And as this continues, as it continues to push off to the east, it'll tap into that Gulf moisture. And that's when it'll start to see kind of a changeover effect to that rain to snow. But it'll be some heavier rain pushing. And as that cold air pushes from the north, you'll have that transition into just a heavy snow. It's a wet snow. It's a heavy snow because these temperatures are going to be above freezing for the entire event. And I'll show you this. And another dynamic that's going to be on the table for this event is, yes, not only snow, but thunder snow, believe it or not. So you're going to have those heavier thunderstorms down to the south, but where you're going to see that transition into Central Texas, places like going into East Texas, is not out of the question that while it's snowing, you could hear some flashes of lightning and thunder. So this is a rare event. So it's not out of the question you could experience some thunder snow for later on today, because as this continues to push, this is your 3 o'clock forecast, and these darker blues kind of really set up. I mean, some of these short range mesoscale models are coming in at some pretty intense snowfall rates for places like Huntsville, places like Madisonville, like up here by College Station. I mean, we're talking 6, 8, possibly 10 inches in those type cities. I mean, that is just, that's crazy talk. So that, I mean, that's definitely on the table for this type of a system, because there's a lot of moisture with this system. And the challenging part is to figure out exactly, how much of this is going to be rain, how much is this going to be snow, because this is an above average, above freezing event the entire time. The temperatures are going to be above average during the entire time. So you're going to have to deal with wind too. As the system lifts, these gusts are going to be pretty high. So you're going to be experiencing, especially like along the coast, 35, 40 mile per hour wind gusts later on this afternoon by like 3 o'clock. And these 20 to 25 mile per hour will extend into central Texas, get into southern portions of south of Dallas as well. So you're going to have to deal with the wind too. But here's the temperatures. These are 3 o'clock temperatures. I mean, your average high, you're talking mid 50s and the 60s down here in Texas. And these are 33, 34, 35 degrees. That is 20 degrees below average. So that's where you're going to have that snow. And this is the hottest part of the day. And you can see the challenging part is when these temperatures, you notice none of these are freezing 32 or below. None of them are. So but the difference is with this event, it's the mid layer. That's cold enough. I mean, typically in Texas, you always have that warm layer aloft, which always melts the snow as it falls. And a lot of times it falls as rain. This time it's below freezing in the mid layers. So that's why a lot of this is going to fall as snow. And as this continues to push off to the east, and as this continues to push off, that cold air will continue to press further and further south and extending all the way down into places like Austin to start seeing some snow by then. Getting into northern portions of Houston, winter storm watch. And Houston, first time in 7 years. So this is a rare event for you guys. And this will continue pushing off into Louisiana by 6 o'clock. And as this continues to push, you see those heavier rains to the south side. And this will be some leftover snow on the backside by, getting into, this is midnight now. As this will continue to push off to the east into Louisiana, central Louisiana, northern Louisiana, southern Arkansas, getting into Mississippi by then with that snow. And this will extend. And as this extends, and this low pressure will continue to try to lift northward. And as it lifts, it loses a lot of the Gulf flow. So you'll be seeing less precipitation. With less precipitation, meaning less snow that is going to be able to fly. And as you extend, getting into northern portions of Louisiana, southern portions of Arkansas, going into northern portions of Mississippi and Alabama by then. This is by Monday morning. So it's going to start to wind down, unfortunately for you guys, because as this starts to approach land, it's going to kind of lose its luster from the Gulf and the just leftover snow showers, where you may see a flake or two in just northern Georgia, but there's not going to be much out of the table from this event as you get into Tennessee as well. So now let's take a look at the liquid precipitation. This is what's going to fall in liquid form from this system. You can see a good swath of a ½ inch up to 3/4 of an inch. And then here's kind of the bullseye zone where it's going to be very difficult to figure out what's going to fall as snow and what's going to be fall as rain. But yeah, 1.5 to 1.5 inches of liquid on a 10 to 1 ratio. That would equate to 15 inches of snow. Is it going to snow 15 inches? Probably not. But a lot of this is going to fall as snow. And so that's going to be the difficult to determine how much is going to fall. But I do think a majority of it will fall as snow because it's going to be cold enough as this continues to press. And as this continues to press, we'll see a good swath of a 4 to 8 inch swath in West Texas, going into Central Texas, just south of the Metroplex. If you live in Dallas, I'm expecting a widespread event for you guys, at least seeing some snow on the northern side, probably 1 to 2 inches. As you get towards in the heart of the Metroplex, 2 to 4 inches is not out of the question. And just maybe a little bit further south, are talking 4 to 6 inches, but the sweet spot continues to seem like down in East Texas, where we could have a few surprises where a lot of this is going to be snow for the entire event up here. And yeah, a foot of snow. Yes, I know that's crazy talk. A foot of snow is not out of the question going into East Texas. And this will extend. This is accumulated snow, so it doesn't mean you might not see any snowflakes down here towards Houston and up along the coast or anything, because it's going to be cold enough, and where that transition, it just may not accumulate, and that's why it's not depicting on here. And as this will continue to push, you'll see those lighter amounts as that low continues to press in, going into Louisiana, central and northern Louisiana, southern Arkansas. 2 to 4 inches is not out of the question, but lesser amounts as we go into Mississippi with just maybe an inch or two, and then especially as you go into Alabama, not much on the table, and then even less, and Georgia as we kind of expand the view, going into maybe a dusting or two, going up to an inch in just northern parts of Alabama. And yeah, I'm not expecting too much for you guys, unfortunately, for Georgia, as that low just continues to press further inland, losing that Gulf moisture. But that is the big event that's on the table for today, going into tomorrow morning and into the afternoon for Texas and parts of the Deep South. I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video. Definitely leave your comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to catch the latest update where I protect you before and after the storm.